my name's Connor. This is my 1995 16-valve Golf Mark III. I brought this car back in 2018 as a non-runner off eBay, and it was I was the only person that bid on it, 250 quid. My dad would not let me look at the car or bid on the car without looking at it. So we went to go and have a look at it, me and my dad. At the time I didn't really know too much about mechanics, so my dad was really taking the reins on this. And he was really not impressed with how the car looked, because we looked at the sills and he could put his fist into the sills because there was that much of a hole there. The arches were also really rotten as well, because we could peel back the arches and we could actually see the rust flaking and hear it crunching all up. So he wasn't that impressed when after we'd seen it and I bid on it, because then we had to trailer at home, and it was a bit of a nightmare trying to get it back.
The short period of time I've known you, you told me about the story about your dad, and I'm just really intrigued. It makes this car a lot more special. So do you want to talk a little bit more about your dad's involvement?
Yeah, so my dad was a mechanic, and at the time I brought this I didn't really know too much about mechanics. I knew that I wanted a GTI, and it had to be a Mark III because I love Mark IIIs. And he basically helped me through building this car when it was an 8-valve. Me and my dad were best friends. He was he was my hero. Anything we did, any car meet we went to, we'd do it together. I was never ashamed to bring my old man along to car meets. In fact, that's how I ended up going to comps, because he'll be the one taking me to them. Yeah, we used to go to like Volkswagen nights. He had a Mark V 1.9 TDI, and I love that car. It was so cool. Like the torque on it was amazing. And I think that's probably what got me into cars. He let me have a go one day before I passed my test. Cool, Dad. And I took it up the road, and he said, "No, put your foot down, put it down to the floor." And I was like, "Oh my god!" Getting pulled back into my seat, and it was remapped as well at stage 1. And I think at that moment, that's when I was like, "Do you know what? I really like cars now." After that, like once I'd passed my test and I got my first car, he taught me all about like mechanics and obviously the basics, changing tyres, discs and pads, that sort of stuff, but it grew to something more. So unfortunately in 2019 my dad passed away from a stroke. It was really unexpected, and it just happened all of a sudden. There was no warning signs or anything about that, and it just changed me. It just happened so sudden, and it was so unexpected. It was a really hard time for me. And one of the main things that kept me going was working on cars, and that kept me focused. It gave me something to work towards and something to keep me busy while he was in hospital, because he was only ill for about 2 weeks, and it kept me busy, it kept me working towards something. Me and my dad, we were just starting to do an ABS 16-valve swap on this car, and we were going to be doing that together. And I found out from one of his friends, he said to me, "Oh, Connor's never going to finish that. He's probably just going to sit half broken down on the driveway. He's never going to finish it." And I found that out after he passed away, and that was like the last, like an absolute mission for me to get it done. Then he'd thrown the gauntlet down, and I can't even say anything to him because he passed away, and I thought that was like, do you know what? I've got to do this. This is like a challenge for me now. This is like a bit of a, in a nice way, a bit of a, oh, do you know what? F you. Do you know what? I'm gonna do this now. Yeah. I can't believe you said that.
Proved him wrong. Yeah.
I'm gonna prove you wrong. I'm gonna do it. So, with a lot of help from Ben, shout out to Ben. We managed to get it running and get it in. We didn't do it all in one day, but from my dad passing it, I had to focus on something. I had to set my mind on something, because if I didn't set my mind on something, I probably would have gone crazy. I had all these thoughts in my head, and I was thinking, what am I going to do with my life? my hero, my role model, my dad, he's passed away. You know, what am I going to do with myself? And you know, the early couple of months without my dad, it was, even the first year, it was really rough. It was rough going, you know. But this car, it just helped me keep going. Like, it's so sentimental to me. You know, it's one of the last things me and my dad worked on together. You know, he taught me so much about cars through this car. And we had so many memories with it. We went to so many places in it, and a lot of car meets as well. You know, he was with me with this car from when it looked like an absolute banger, and no one would even look at it at car meets and wherever I went, to something that was, you know, half decent and tidy. And a lot of people don't talk about mental health, and being a man, I did the manly thing, and I bottled it up, and I didn't talk to anyone about it. I just put a brave face on, and I thought, well, I guess I'm the man of the house now. I've got to deal with this. I've got to get on with it. I've got to keep going to work. I've got to keep doing something. And it is just the worst way to do things, because I ended up getting myself into some serious problems doing that. You know, I tried to kill myself. You know, I thought, without my dad, what's the point? You know, I feel like there's nothing to go on for. And you know, I was heartbroken. But thankfully, I didn't do that, because you know, there is more to life. I did start talking about it. You know, I talked to my friends about it. I ended up going out, working on this car. I had counselling as well, and there's no shame in that. I've seen a massive shame in that when I first started having counselling. I was embarrassed. I thought, what have I done? Why am I here? I don't want to talk about this, but I just want to make it aware to people that, like, male, female, you need to talk about things. If it's getting on your mind, you shouldn't bottle it up, because it's going to end badly, you know.
If somebody is going through something that's hard to deal with, what do you advise people do, being from somebody who's experienced?
For me personally, it was talking about it to people and not being ashamed of talking about it. Going out and doing things with my friends, whatever it was, I'd say, do you know what, I'm going to do it. And the fourth thing is, which I think is probably the main thing about why people struggle, is getting upset, crying. You know, it's a natural thing, and I think that I included struggled with this. I would not get upset about things, and it's the worst thing to do. You know, I get upset now. You know, I shed tears about it still, and I think it's a healthy thing to do. And if you've got to do it, you've got to do it. Don't hide it. Don't bottle it up.
Having experienced it and come out of it,
yeah.
You know, it happened a few years ago, which is still not that long ago.
Just over two years. Years.
How do you think you're doing now compared to what you was doing then?
A lot better. I'm glad I didn't do anything stupid, because whatever I'm doing right now in life, I'm doing it and I'm loving it. And you know, I'm building cars, working on cars, seeing my friends and family, and I'm so glad I didn't do anything stupid that day, because it would have been such a waste. And
well,
you know,
we wouldn't have met.
No, exactly.
And I wouldn't have had my crank sensor fixed.
Yeah.
You actually helped me out.
Yeah. Again, that was me. I didn't know you then.
No.
You were just some person off the internet, and I thought, you know what? I have to do something. I'm going to go meet this person and help him out. I don't know him, but I'm like, I've got to do something.
So you're saying,
can't just sit at home. I made myself do it.
Yeah. So you're saying that the way you coped with, obviously, the unfortunate passing of your dad.
Yeah.
You know, got really involved into cars.
Yeah, absolutely. I threw myself into cars. I mean, like I said, this car was an 8-valve, and it was like a challenge. Like, I had to do it, because that's like the last thing he left me with. Oh, he's not going to do it. And so I plunged straight into this with the help of friends, and it just kept me busy. It kept me doing something. It gave me something to work for, because I had nothing to work for. I was so down. I didn't want to move. You know, I'd say I was depressed, and this car got me out of bed. It got me doing something, and it gave me the drive again to do anything, to do something.
So it's probably hard to explain, but really, how much does this car mean to you?
honestly, yeah. Yeah, it does. It means a lot.
Yeah.
At one point I thought about selling it because I built a 20 valve, and you know, I got in it and I turned the key, started. Sorry.
No, it's alright. This is great.
You know,
Okay.
I took the cover off and started the key, and I thought, I'm such an idiot for selling this car, and I felt so upset. I thought, this basically is like a part of my dad. And I thought, how wrong of me to sell this car, you know? Like, can't get rid of it. You know, it's my prized possession. If I could take one car, you know, it wouldn't be the 20 Volvo, it would be this. All day long, if I had to pick, this is the car I would pick.
I think knowing the story about your dad and what you've been through with this car, obviously you came from literally no mechanical experience at all.
No.
You know, you've not even gone to college. So I think that speaks volumes for how well you've done. You know, a lot of people who have got qualifications, who've got experience, don't do this kind of thing because they might not still have the confidence, which is okay. But I think you've done exceptionally well to learn from literally nothing to actually just having a go. And I think people would appreciate that a lot of people are going through certain mental health problems as well, and that the fact that you come out even stronger with a catalogue of knowledge about these cars that you didn't know anything about before, and I think it's admirable, mate. It is.
Thank you very much. There is one thing that my dad would always say, right? I would be always on to the next thing for this car. I'd be researching it all the time, and I'd literally, I must have drove him crazy talking about things I'm going to do to it, why I'm going to do this, why I'm going to do that, and he'd stop me and be like, oh, hold on a minute, Connor. He'd say, oh, open your mouth, and so I would, and he'd be like, have you been eating Volkswagen manuals again? Like, oh, that would just crack me up. It's something that's always stuck with me because it just completely caught me off guard the first time. He got me. For spec-wise, I've kept it pretty much like an OEM plus. Like, I've got Mark IV Montreals on it at the moment. I normally have Audi TT wheels on it, but this is just for storage purposes. I've had the calipers painted red. I've had the ABF ECU chipped. I've just kept it, like I said, OEM plus. I've tore everything apart and I've cleaned it all up, painted everything in the engine bay. In terms of the interior, again, I've left it stock. Like, I've left it the colour concept red leather. I did put a magnet backbox catback on it as well, which sounds quite nice. I didn't really want to leave the old exhaust on it, it didn't really sound great. I've added this red stripe, painted the grille black, added the 16 volt badges, lowered it a little bit. It's on Coney coilovers. I wasn't looking for something that's going to rattle all over the place or like turn many heads. I like the standard sort of look, but with a little bit more added, like a little bit lower, maybe some bigger alloy wheels. I wasn't really looking for like this head turner showpiece car. I've just kept it in nice condition, really. At the end of the day, in and out of this car, if I'm driving in this car, it's like I'm with my dad again. It's like we're going on some sort of adventure or car meet. You know, it's like my dad sitting next to me. I'm sure if he was here, if it was a Spirit or whatever, it'd be sitting next to me in the passenger seat. It's just a brilliant car. Like, it puts a smile on my face. Driving it, hearing the noise of the engine, it's priceless. You know, I could not put a value on this car. Like, it means so much to me, you know. It's like the last part of my dad, and I'm driving around in it.